Hello out there, and welcome to another episode of TableTakes. It's Friday here with your best buddies in gaming. That's right. We're back again. Gen Con, welcome. I hope you had a really great week. I hope that you got a lot of things done. I hope that you drank a lot of water. And I hope that you watched the season finale of Loki, because we will be talking about it, okay? It's all that I can think about, okay?
Spoilers. Cover your ears.
Oh, yeah, you've had time, okay? I don't feel sorry for you.
You had a whole 2 days.
You had a whole 2 days, 48 hours. Okay. So I am one of your hosts, one of your not so humble hosts. My name is Isabella Von Gool, and I am together with my best buddies in gaming, including a very special guest, Noir. How have you been, buddy? What's been?
Hey, that's me. I've been all right. Very excited for the season finale of Loki. I needed a palate cleanser because I went on a tangent on Twitter about the best Disney villain song, and that led me down a hole.
Wait, what's your answer?
Oh, there is only one answer, and that is Friends on the Other Side. Look, there are some that are close. I'll give you that. Poor Unfortunate Souls is close.
Poor Unfortunate Souls is the song. That's the villain song.
Keith David knew the assignment and got extra credit. I'm sorry. Friends on the Other Side is a bop, and I will not be taking answers.
The Oogie Boogie song from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hellfire, okay, Hellfire. I told you my whole fan fiction that I'm obsessed with. When it comes to Hellfire, it's very unhealthy. It's very unhealthy.
It's way too horny for children. You know it's true.
It is the thirst song of the century.
Yeah, that man.
Yeah, not wrong. I had a thing for villains, all right? When I was younger, I had a thing for only villains.
No, we all have things for villains. We're just saying that is the horniest one. It's very aggressive and horny for children's movies.
But you have to hear the female version of it, okay? So
it really is good. It really is good. Once I posted it and I listened to it, I'm like, this should be the official version. But Friends on the Other Side is about that action. My guy did his job, and it was great. I can tell you what wasn't great, though. I watched the live action version of Aladdin. To kind of compare and contrast that with the original. Yeah. And it was rough, y'all. It was rough. I couldn't even make it past the Belle song with Beauty and the Beast. Like, it was so auto-tuned. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
That's why you gotta watch the theater performance.
The live action Disney movies are not made for art. They are more made for commerce. And it's fine because we still have the original, you know, we still have the classic version of it. So that never ends. But my God, are the live action Disney movies.
What they did to good. Prince Ali, I feel like it should be classified as a war crime.
Listen. But we have Loki, which kind of cleansed all of our palettes. So I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Emma, you learned cribbage, but also watched Loki as well.
I did do that, yeah. I found time for both of them. Like, how has anyone not found time to watch Loki? Yeah, cribbage though. I've been on a little bit of a classic games kick for.
Yeah, my Nana plays cribbage.
Yeah, I'd never played before. You know, I'd always see the board. It's just one of those artifacts of the past, right? Where you're like, what is this? And you play with the things. You're like, haha. Old games are weird. Like it's very much Calvin ball is the way that Anna Maria, who taught me, described it. It's like, okay, well, I flip this card. It's a jack. I get 2 points. You know, you can imagine two old dudes figuring out the rules, you know, smoking cigars or whatever. It's like, okay, well, now this adds up to 15, so I get 2 points. And this is a pair, so I get 2 more points. It's like, well, yeah, but this is 3 of a kind, so I get 3 points or whatever. It's
Are you just
confusing.
Describing how games are made. You're just describing.
No,
just describing how
that we game designers think very carefully about the reasons, the motivations, and the theme, and why it makes sense that it's worth 3 points.
Sure.
Fair. But the scoring is a little. That was the game itself. Great. It's especially the older classic games. It's like chat and play cards. Once you understand the system of it, and I picked it up pretty quickly. You just like put it down, and it can be something that you play. Unlike some modern games that you just sit like this the whole time because you're just like melting your brain. And this some thinking involved, but it can be a lot more casual. But recognizing your points for everything takes a little longer, and being the arbiter is like, oh well, you got some points here, but all in all it was cool.
Why is it called cribbage though? That's been the thing that's been bothering me. Like what is that word?
Like a cool dance move though.
It's related to a cabbage? I don't know, but that's what I was thinking of. And one more plug, we actually played with an early pre-release version of Beth Sobel's new card deck that she's been working on. So if you go and look that up, she's amazing board game artist, has been working on this deck of cards for a very long time. The art is amazing. The face cards are all 3 women at different stages of life. So it's like a girl, a woman, and an older version of the same woman over the course of her life. So, and then there's like plants and animals and stuff. So I think it's going to be coming to Kickstarter eventually. So you should definitely check that out because the deck of cards was absolutely gorgeous.
That's great. Also, what do you think about Loki?
It was good. It was like they gave us nothing.
They gave us everything.
They gave us Kang probably, and that was amazing. Because everything, there was no resolution to the stuff. They just jettisoned everyone. It was to be continued. The show. It was just like
it was a cliffhanger, classic cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. Oh my gosh! So it was still. I was hoping for some joy, and instead it was more pain. But joy in a way of like the story continues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm thinking like, oh, some people haven't seen it, not spoilers, but there is, yeah. So,
spoiler alert, Kang the Conqueror shows up at the end of this show, and it's wild. We've been thinking about this for so long, that Kang we knew he was going to be in the show, and then he shows up at the end, and he's the guy who's controlling everything, and it's crazy because it means that the multiverse is open, and it's everything, and everything's going to happen. We're going to get mutants in the Fantastic Four, and it's going to be in probably Miles Morales, and it's going to be...
We better get Miles Morales.
Better.
Banzai to baby. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
You got some noodles, I heard?
Yes. Okay. So you guys don't understand. Sukumin dippy noodles are like the best. Kazuki restaurant. It's like you get the pure sauce and you take the noodles and it's cold. I haven't had this in a year and a half. It is very hard to make. I've tried making homemade ramen before. All right. I'm not crazy. This is just, it's good food. If you guys ever are in Seattle or wherever the branches of Kazuki is, this is not an ad. This is just, I have an unhealthy obsession with
drop
this.
The name in the chat so that we...
Or it's an audition for you to get sponsored by him.
Oh, yeah, there you go. It's just like a chain ramen place that has this like dippy noodles, but it's kind of labor intensive to make. So they didn't have it because of one, pandemic, couldn't go to restaurants anyways. And then 2, they had to rehire the people who could actually make it and a bunch of things. So it took a while for it to come back, but it's back. And I'm going to gain so much weight. I love it.
Good for you.
I got to check this out. This looks so good. I'm hungry.
That seems like a much better food to get excited about. Like, I get that excited about the McRib, but it's not classy to get that excited about the McRib.
There's a vegetable in there. There's an egg. It's healthy, right?
You could add vegetables, yeah.
Drop it in the chat because I would love, that sounds really, really good. And I would love to share that with other people.
And if anybody needs me to drop a link where they can find the McRib, just let me know.
McDonald's does not need any of our Gen Con dollars. They're fine. Unless they want to sponsor us.
We love it. So
Later on tonight, if you guys have no plans for Friday night and you want to stay in and you want to watch a spooky movie with me, I'm hosting a screening of The Hunger, which is a fantastic 80s vampire movie starring David Bowie and Sigourney Weaver and Catherine Donovan, and it's one of my favorite movies. And so that's going on tonight. If you want to stay in, stay cool, get some popcorn, snuggle up on the couch, and watch vampire movies with your BFF, Isabella, you can definitely hit that link, which I think I'll post in the chat, or maybe somebody else did. Thanks.
Was David Bowie a vampire?
David Bowie is a vampire in this.
Well, I will be there then.
You haven't seen The Hunger?
I have not seen The Hunger.
Very good.
I am a pleb when it comes to horror movies because I get scared. I get scared real easy.
Would you say it is?
It's not scary. It's more of like vampires doing vampire.
See, but the thing is, like, when you ask somebody how scary a movie is, you gotta understand. You talk about their tolerance, and like Isabella, you are like the queen of horror movies, from what I understand.
I do watch horror movies to go to sleep at night, so maybe I'm not the best judge.
Not right. That's not normal. So like,
David Bowie's in it, and he's very charming as a vampire.
Yeah, I've got to see that.
So, game sales grew dramatically. It seems like it wasn't all bad news last year, which is fantastic. We've talked about this before, but it looks like our sector of the market is actually doing pretty good. Emma, did you want to tell us more about this?
Yeah. So, surprising some people, I guess, hobby game sales were over $2 billion in 2020. Billion
with a B.
2 billion with a B. Billion. And that's the US and Canada market estimates. And that's a lot. I don't know if y'all have been following board game sales, but that's 21% growth over 2019. And hobby games have been growing kind of astronomically for at least the last 10 years. I mean, it's been growing since hobby games really became a thing. RPGs, and then hobby board games and miniatures and trading card games. It's been going up, but especially in the last 10 years, and even more so, especially in the last 5 years, just continuing to explode. And it's really interesting to see, you know, in a year where there weren't in-person conventions, and people weren't going to board game stores either. Like, just to see these numbers, people were trapped at home though, and a lot of people were playing video games, but it turns out a lot of people were playing, or at least buying, board games as well. And this is including Kickstarter too. And I think we had talked about Kickstarter last year, and how they were doing very good numbers. And from everything I've seen, just $100,000 million Kickstarters still happening in the hobby space over the last year. So a little bit of a breakdown of these numbers. Collectible games were up 24%, miniatures up 17%, board games up 19%, card and dice up 19%, RPGs up a whopping 31%, breaking 100 million for the first time. So RPGs traditionally were a smaller piece of this, but still continuing to grow a lot. So the online, obviously booming, Kickstarter, mass merchants, large online retailers. Unfortunately, the only ones who kind of missed out on this were specialty retail chains. So obviously, unsurprisingly, local game stores did have a very tough year last year. A lot of stores had to pivot. A lot of stores, unfortunately, went out of business. But for games in the hobby, it's just like, it just continues to get bigger, and is showing no signs of stopping, which is interesting because, as we've talked about before in the show, there's a lot of factors coming up that could really rock the boat, so to speak. So just shipping costs 10, 20 times. Publishers quoted $3,000. Now it's $20,000 to get the same product, because most games these days are printed in China. Paper costs, we've talked about before in the show, continuing to go up. shipping costs, container costs. So just to like get the games onto the boat, the individual shipping costs to get them out to individual people. So it'll be interesting to see if that is reflected in the market, if prices start to go up, if that affects consumers. I think
it's great news. You know, I bought more games during the Pan Pizza than I did ever before. Sort of, you think I'm done with P names? I'm not. You know, like I bought them sort of with the optimism of like, once this is over with, I can't wait to get back together and play them with other people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I did buy more than I think I normally would have because of the fact that I was just like, can't wait. This game, I'm going to buy it. And then hopefully in the future, I'm going to play with friends, you know? Yeah,
I know that I last year backed 4 Kickstarters, and like last year was the first time I backed any Kickstarter. And it was kind of like to give myself a delayed gift.
Yeah.
Like I have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also backed Kickstarters.
How many, Emma?
A number. There's no way to know. Unfortunately, they don't actually track how many Kickstarters you've backed.
You don't track your own Kickstarters?
No, Kickstarter doesn't tell you. It just goes into a black hole, and they never even tell you. There's no data on that.
Okay.
No, I can actually. I became a super backer, so that's the.
Okay.
I have backed 131 things on Kickstarter.
Wow.
Over the course. This is over the course of like 8 years.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Not
it's not just a year.
I don't think
this was about to turn into an intervention. Like it would have a problem.
Wow. I've been on Kickstarter also for 8 years. I don't think I've broken the double digits. Good for you, Emma. Emma is single-handedly keeping the Kickstarter.
So some of these, a fair amount of them are like the dollar back, you know, supporting friends and stuff. Because I have a lot of people who've done Kickstarters. I'm trying to, I don't know how you see the stats of like over, and that's like in 2020 versus 2021.
Yeah. Well, I think speaking of some Kickstarters and some gamers that have done really, really good over the course of the year, the Diana Jones Awards was also just announced as well, which gives kind of some recognition to some people that deserve the recognition and some that it's like, you have enough. But do you want to go more into this?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, what is the Diana Jones Awards? We talked about it last year as well, but it started in early, maybe like 2000s, 2001s period. It's supposed to be a public consensus of people who have done excellent in gaming. So it's more to highlight what the public thinks that are more indie developers, people who like may not have necessarily got the recognition via mainstream media, but the public is like, yo, you did a good job for you. I like that. It did take flag last year with some of the labeling of their award system, because they did the regular Diana Jones Awards, and then they had the Black Excellence Award, which is kind of like they are trying, but you know, sometimes it's the translation, it mixes up. This year, you can see a lot of their various different, they just announced the finalists, not necessarily the winner yet. Going ahead, we're going to go ahead and just go into it. A lot of these, I kind of, my personal opinion, a little conflicted, because some of these folks are more mainstream names that already have the recognition or have not necessarily done anything recently in the past year, but you know, they definitely have done something, but it's something that has already probably been acknowledged, at least in my opinion. Let me go ahead and just go over some of the people. There's a total of 6 folks that they're doing. Big Bad Cons 2019 Babylon Equality Project, which is basically a POC program that fundraises efforts to bring POC folks to Big Bad Con who necessarily don't have the funds or the ability to go ahead and go to these conventions and make connections with folks. Game Game Crafters is a print-on-demand manufacturing services for tabletop games, just allowing and working with people who aren't used to being game designers and such, and getting that manufacturing ball rolling. Nipcar Games, game publisher manufacturer in Nigeria. Mike Pondsmith, a game designer, and has been around for many, many years. Very recognized in various different communities. Session Zero Online, which is an online tabletop gaming convention that is mostly focused on Asian Pacific Islanders community. And also Wingspan, the board game by Elizabeth Hargrave, published by Stonemeyer's Game. Wingspan getting all them awards already. So those are the the finalists that they've announced. Like, I don't know, how do you feel about some of these categories? Like, for me, I don't know Wingspan. Like, yes, it's done a lot. It's a really good game, but I feel like it's already gotten a lot of recognition. I don't know. What are you guys' opinions on those?
Well, if you look at the page for Diana Jones, it's weird. It's kind of like, what is your impression? Like, what is the sense that you get? I had gotten the sense that Diana Jones was something that call back to everything in the show, tries to find the diamond in the rough, you know, give a little more recognition to amazing things that were looked over by the community. But if you look at their page, they're just like, we highlight great stuff. We highlight things based on merit versus mass consumerism. So it's really kind of amorphous. And I think, especially with kind of their kerfluffle last year, right? At this point, I'm kind of like, what are they doing exactly? And they always it's organizations and it's individuals and like a convention and then a company, you know, it's like,
yeah.
I think at this point, I'm just a little confused about what.
Because there's so many different kinds of awards now. We've covered a lot of different awards, and I think that, you know, each awards needs to sort of separate itself and say, why exactly do we exist over the other awards that you can get from being in gaming? And it seems like this award isn't really separating itself in a way that makes it rise above other awards that you might get, you know? And so I think that for a lot of gaming companies or game awards, that they should think about what specifically are we doing to highlight a specific kind of group or separate ourselves rather than just being general and all awards to all people, you know?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Nora.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if this is for up and comers or just things that aren't getting the merit that they deserve, Mike Pondsmith is the name. Mike Pondsmith is the name that immediately sticks out, because that's kind of like saying, you know, let's look at the new up and coming basketball players and we're gonna highlight Michael Jordan. It's just Pondsmith. We know him. He created the Cyberpunk tabletop game and had a heavy hand in the promotional material of the video game that just came out. That's as notable as you can get as a tabletop game designer, you know, so it's just it's a little weird. I
think that it wouldn't hurt to be more niche, you know, to kind of, instead of trying to be as broad as possible, because not all of these people in all of these categories are created equal. So it's kind of a strange sort of a thing. But speaking of not all categories being created equal, some are more fire focused, some more water focused, some more air, some more earth. I've actually never seen Avatar before. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Noir, do you have Avatar news? I'm gonna mute myself.
Yes, you have. By the way, what a segue. Just that's what I'm talking about. That's professional right there. Hey everybody. So The Last Airbender has just come out with their quick start rules. Woo! You can now play the Avatar: The Last Airbender tabletop RPG with the quick start rules that just came out, and we've got the official name for it. This was first teased back in February. Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, will let folks RP in the worlds of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra and beyond. The game will be hitting Kickstarter around August 3rd, but the quick start rules are already available for free via the Magpie Games website. The quick start rules are already beefy with about 55 pages. The game is powered by the Apocalypse, so it's going to be really easy for you to pick up. And the rules suggest that the game will be designed to support play across 5 different historical eras. I can confirm this to be true. You can play in Roku's era, the 100-Year War. You can play in Korra era. You can also play in Kyoshi era. And ooh boy, I forgot that last one. But there's another one that you can play. I just having a hard time remembering what it is right now. Surprisingly, they've chosen to consciously avoid having some defined set rules for bending. Bending is just going to be an option that every playbook has access to, and influences how you interact with the scenes and perform your moves, less so than being set moves themselves. The action is meant to center on your character, not their powers. And yes, thank you. And just to give you a quick rundown of that, just for transparency's sake, I am part of the Magpie CPP program, so I have run this numerous times. This game functions very much like Mask in the sense that there aren't any rule sets for your powers. There's a skill called rely on skills and training, which you can use to bend, or you can push your luck, which you can use to bend as well. So it's more focused on where your character is bending from in the moment, rather than like making it crunchy with like a spell or something like that. It really helps with the flow of the narrative, and very much like any other Powered by the Apocalypse games, if you roll for it and things go wrong, rather than just saying you fail, something interesting in the story happens. So maybe you do punch that fireball successfully, but the bad news is that there's gunpowder in there or something. So that's how that functions. It's really fun. The quick start includes a short adventure with some pre-gens and built-in cheat sheets to get you going quickly. Really, if you're a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, go to Magpie, download this, and run it with your friends. It's a great time.
Isabella, and for others who might not have who might not know as much about bending, if you don't have time to watch the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender series, there's the live action movie. So
Stop it. What are you doing?
Google a quick clip from that, and you will see.
Nope.
It's the most chaotic thing Emma has ever done.
So, for example, you'll see a sphere of water slowly moving through the air, and that's basically what water bending.
I don't know.
I would need Emma to be arrested for this. This is cruel and unusual punishment.
The one thing is the movie is so bad, and this Emma, that was amazing. I have been told it's a great show, blah 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 blah. Everybody talking about it. It's so great. I will eventually get around to it, but it hasn't been high on my list. I will understand. I know that bending is a thing that you can do. This sounds great. I totally understood all of the things that you just said, Noir. Thank you so much.
I put my heart and soul into this segment.
In all seriousness, though, I do think the from everything you're describing, that makes a lot more sense than making it more mechanical, crunchy for the abilities, because that's what the show is about. You know, it's like, what is their power level? Like, it's really hard to kind of pin that down. It's more just doing like really cool, really cinematic things, which I think is the heart of it.
And if you try to put Avatar in a system like, let's say, 5th edition, there aren't spell slots. Like, bending is who they are, so they can do it. To quote Captain America, all day. So, like, this is the best system for that.
Speaking of the best, I don't know if you guys know, but it's the Super Bowl for nerds this weekend. We have talked about this before, but if you're just joining us for the first time or you haven't heard, D&D Live starts today and it goes through tomorrow. I totally am not watching it on a separate screen that I have right now. I'm totally paying attention to what we're talking about because I love TableTakes. Anyway, if you don't know, D&D Live is I take my job very seriously. D&D Live is a really cool, used to be in-person event, but this year and last year it was live streamed because of the Personal Pan Pizza, also the Pamela Anderson, and it's going on this year as well. And it features a ton of celebrities, a ton of people that are famous, not only in the community of tabletop games, but also in the wider culture, because over the past few years, tabletop games, D&D in particular, has hit kind of a mainstream popularity. And a lot of celebrities, some celebrities that you know and love, and some that you probably don't know and love, are really into it and have kind of come into raising the profile of D&D, which is really cool, I think, because it kind of brings awareness to the wider public about it. D&D is going mainstream. It's wild. So you can check it out on G4, which is, if you're an old person like me, you remember it when it used to be on this thing called a television that you used to get a cable box.
What's that?
There used to be a box on your television that you had to set, and then it was a whole thing. So it's on that, but you can also catch it on Twitch, and I believe it's also on Peacock as well. And that's going on all weekend, starting today. It's going on right now. I'm totally not watching it right now as well. And there's so many different kinds of celebrities that are featured on this. Seth Green, who you know from Robot Chicken, Patton Oswalt, who you maybe know from Ratatouille. He's also a huge nerd and a great stand-up comedian. And then also Tiffany Haddish is going to be joining them as well, which I love. I don't know if Tiffany Haddish knows anything about D&D, but
she'll make it work.
She'll make it work. Super funny. There was also Ember Moon, who's one of my favorite wrestlers. Woo! There's New Day. There's a whole there's a whole bunch of wrestlers that are joining as well. It looks like it's just going to be a really fun time. Thank you, Arthur. So you can check out. It's already going on right now, and it goes on mostly all of the days that are going on. You can also catch it on YouTube as well. There's no excuse. It's all over the place. And they're also doing some really cool drops as well for D&D. So you can kind of get some new insight about the new latest things that are happening in the world of D&D when you watch it as well. One of the cool things about D&D Live is that they also function as a fundraiser as well. So they have different charities as different players play different games. They're raising money for different kinds of organizations. All the organizations are really rad, and which is really great because the gaming community has really done a lot for raising money and awareness for different kinds of communities and different kinds of charities. And I love that this kind of mainstream organization is keeping that mentality as well and not losing the kind of charitable mindset that we have in the gaming community, which I love. So it looks like there was a new book that was announced, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, Gem Dragons for the 5th editions, Bahamut and Tiamat, story from the First World, was announced today. That release date is October 19th. If you're into dragons and dragonic related monsters. You've got some maps. You've got 20 different kinds of dragons that are coming, new feats and spells, different dragon themed subclasses for the monks and rangers, as well as dragonborn ancestries. I love dragonborn. That's just, I want to have a dragon. I want to have horns.
Hashtag let our monks do damage. Sorry, I just had to put that out there.
So as the weekend goes on, you can, it does feel like it's the Super Bowl because you kind of never know like what's going to happen and who's going to pop up and things like that. They haven't announced all of their celebrity appearances as well. I'm hoping that my hope is that Joe Manganiello is going to show up as he has done years past, and then I'm hoping Vin Diesel shows up as well.
All about family.
Yeah,
Cameo just like walks through the set.
He's gonna debut the new family class.
Oh my gosh.
Make it happen, Vin.
So hey, check that out as well. Speaking of family, we have a long lost family member returning. I'm so excited about this. We're getting, if you were a fan of Pokemon from the very beginning, you know that Pikachu suffered some cosmetic changes and did a whole BBL and got a whole liposuction and changed. And, you know, some of us were not very happy about this, but it seems like we're getting the return of Fat Pikachu. Bonsai, do you want to talk more about it?
All right, yes. Chubba boy is coming back. Basically, the Japanese expansion due October for their 25th anniversary celebration. By the way, if you guys didn't know, like how we treat Pokemon here is not as cool as how Japan treats Pokemon over there. You guys just don't understand. It's like a whole thing. You have like Pikachu costumes. And I could go on a rant, but yes, the OG Chubster Pikachu with the correct tail coloring as well is making a comeback. There's 3 newly revealed Pikachu cards, remakes of the iconic card. Basically, you got like some of the promos include Surfing Pikachu and Flying Pikachu and original OG Pikachu just sitting there chilling and being a round boy, the best round boy ever, is coming in. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of revamping because I don't know if you guys know, Pokemon has gotten kind of like super overpowered, you know, like maybe have god types somehow that create the whole universe and everything in existence. You know, it's gotten kind of interesting in Pokemon. So they're going to be essentially bringing them back and then giving them a little bit more of a boost so they can actually work in a deck, you know, if you still play the Pokemons. But yeah, joining the remakes are 2 brand new Pikachu cards. Pikachu V Union is basically a celebration of the Electric Mouse featuring 25 different versions of Pikachu, just like all of them on one card. Illustrated by 25 different artists across the Pokemon tabletop card game. So lots of exciting things. I don't know if you guys also know Pokemon Go is also doing some things. It's the age of Pikachu. Pikachu's making that comeback. You know,
it's been the age of Pikachu. Okay,
Pikachu never
that
left.
Pokemon be thick.
But I will say, like the Gigamax whole thing was very hyper powered. They were like, what if we took the small little cute Pokemons and we made them 25 stories tall? And so they kind of overpowered them, especially now with this like Pikachu V, I guess, or Pikachu 5. I don't know. Actually, I think it's Pikachu V. But you know, it's okay. Pikachu is now returned to his original dummy thick portions. And we can all celebrate Speaking of, no, that's a horrible transition. Do you have some Magic the Gathering Arena? I can't make a transition from Magic the Gathering from Dummy to Magic the Gathering Arena.
Well,
I'm thinking, but I can't make it work.
Speaking of overpowered,
yes,
I think is a good way to go, a good direction to go for this. Yeah, so this is kind of fun, weird, interesting Magic the Gathering Arena blip. So we talked about card bans a little bit before. I think the general Gen Con audience is kind of like, what? Why does it matter? But this one's kind of funny, so I didn't want to bring it up. So MtG Arena does these special events, which are pretty cool because, and I think especially for anyone who wants to get into it, if you want the feel from old cards or old formats, they do a lot of fun stuff that's a little outside the norm. One of the things they're doing right now is Standard 2022, which is a preview, kind of. They basically are taking only cards that are going to be legal because we're going to have a set rotation every year for Standard. We have a set rotation, can't play the older cards in Standard. When the set rotation actually happens, there's going to be new cards. So it's this weird ephemeral format that only exists for these couple of months. And it's this really interesting thing. A lot of people are having a lot of fun with it. But because of the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms set that just came out, there's a card that basically lets you put a counter onto an angel that says you, as long as this angel is alive, you can't lose the game. So first of all, anything, not just Magic, any game, like you got a card, you're playing whatever, you're playing a board game, right? And you're like, this card, I can't lose. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can win, but in Magic the Gathering, if someone runs out of cards or whatever, there's a lot of ways to just naturally lose over time. So having this, like, I can't lose card is pretty powerful. But, you know, it's an angel, it's a creature, whatever, lots of ways to kill a creature, so it's fine, right? Well, introduced in Kaldheim, we have the Faceless Haven, which is a land that can turn into a creature, but is it an angel? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it turns out it is a changeling, which means it is every type of creature, which means it is an angel, which means you can put this counter onto the land, and as long as it's not killed that turn, at the end of the turn, it turns back into a land. So now, instead of having an angel, which is a creature, which is a lot of creature removal, easy to get rid of, you have a land, which is very hard to get rid of. Because it's a resource, and in general, like, I don't like to mess with people's mana and resources, so it is just a land sitting there. There's very little land destruction, especially in Standard 2022. So basically, you have a land that means you can't lose the game, that a lot of decks just don't play anyway to get rid of them, and two people playing this strategy can be matched up against each other. Neither can lose the game, so what happens, right? Especially in Arena, right? Then this is where it gets really interesting with people. Basically, someone has to concede, and if neither person concedes, the game just will go on. You're running Arena in the background, right, with your game, just like, well, I'm not gonna concede. In Best of One, there isn't a time limit, so there's no timer to count down. There's no other way to lose. You just get two people in a stalemate, which is weird.
I would like to use this opportunity, if I could, to explain why blue is the superior color. You see, with the blue deck, you don't need land destruction. You have permanent bouncing. So if something like this hits the ground, you can bounce it, send it back to the opponent's hand. And if they've decked themselves out, they immediately lose. So I'm just saying, once again, blue shows itself to be the superior color.
Wow.
Yeah, also, if because they can go to, like, it tracks their life total. So normally when you get to 0, you die, you lose the game. But if you can't lose the game, you can be at, like, negative 267 life and just sitting there and being like, well, so yeah, if you were to bounce the land at that point, it would reconcile and say, like, oh, now you can lose. You're at negative 267 life, so
you are ultimate dead.
Yeah, you're dead.
Blue can also take permanents. Just saying.
That's fair. That's fair. Red often has the land destruction, so
that's true.
Potentially,
I mean, red is okay. I mean, I hate red because I'm a blue player.
That's fair. That's
Great.
right.
All right. All right.
But yeah, it's also one last thing. It's interesting because often they will just ban a card, especially on Arena. You know, they don't want to do it too often, but it's only for like this very specific event. And it'll be interesting to see going forward. It is kind of hard to pull off. It does take a lot of mana, so maybe it will just become a non-issue. It's just kind of a funny thing, specifically in the Arena platform that's like shown a weakness in Arena, where it's like, what do? We don't know what to do about this.
Speaking of things that are blue, you know what else is blue? Water. You know what else water is? Deep. Noir. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I'll have to live up to that. You could say you're my rival. Speaking of rivals, I'm so sorry. Rivals of WaterDeep is coming up on their 100th episode. This is a big deal. For the 100th episode, they're looking at bringing back all of the cast members that have been on the show. And if you haven't been watching, that's a lot of cast members, and there's some amazing people. We've got Sharif Jackson, who is my GM on Kids and Bike. He's a great, incredibly smart guy, really amazing. Tanya DePass, which if you know anything about gaming, you know Tanya. Latia Cheeks, old friend of mine. I love her so much, and she is amazing. Masood, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna mess up this last name. I'm trying not to. I believe it's Hag. Brian Gray, Eugenia Vargas, Serena Marie, Carlos Luna, Brandon Stennis, and Cicero Holmes. The OG rivals are coming back to meet the new rivals. It is going to be something special. This is a big event. It's a big deal. This is one of the major actual plays out there. Please check it out. They go live on Sundays at noon. Show them some love. Show them all the love. They deserve it. This has launched the careers of some of your favorites in the TTRPG community. So let's show them all the love that they give us back in the space.
Yay! Congratulations. This is awesome. It is now time for us to be laid low by capitalism. We are slaves to the workforce, and we have a boss who drives us into the ground and is just brutal to us. They bring us the bundles. They are the bundle boss. Bonsai, da baby, da bundle, da boss.
Hello, civilians. I'm going to head to tell you about the bundles that we have today. Today's bundle is a Fragged bundle, basically the Fragged Empire, Frag Kingdom, tabletop role-playing games. It's basically survival exploration game in a post-apocalyptic world. This is the apocalypse happened. It's been 1,000 years. We have rebuilt the society. And so how we navigate through that. One of the examples is in the far future, a genetically engineered remnant emerging from a genocidal war to reclaim the lost empire. Some worlds have fallen to barbarism. Some technology has advanced, and it seems magical. So this also includes the starter collection based on the Frag Empire rules and adventure, couple of splat books. Level up editions include the number of alternate settings, including Diesel Punk, which is basically like, hey, let's go ahead and have cars, Mad Max. They also have classic fantasies and high sea adventures. This one will be benefiting the Tier Fund, which is a faith-based, I believe, Christianity-based organization working to address global poverty. Frag Artneum is a new setting supplement for the Frag Empire tabletop role-playing game. You just get the I don't know how to pronounce that word. Antagonist archives, armories, location guides, and more. And it also benefits the Tier Fund. So if that seems like something you are interested in, go check out those bundles.
Aternum.
Yeah. No way to know. That's not a real word.
Thanks, Em. So now I hope that you have warmed up your wallets. I hope that you have busted out your credit cards. This is Emma's favorite time of the show. That place where you can get those debit cards hot, warm up those PayPals, okay? Because we're moving on to Kickstarters. That's right. This is the section of the show where we talk about the newest, latest, greatest, bestest Kickstarters that you can go out there and support right now. Support the gaming industry. I'm going to start up with my first Kickstarter, which is Rat Queens to the Slaughter. This one ends right before my birthday, Wednesday, August 4th, because I'm a Leo and Leos are the best.
Leos!
Leos!
If you're not familiar with... No Leo slander history. If you're not familiar with Rat Queens, it is a very successful comic book series that has been out for years now, which basically follows a group of adventuring different women who go on different kinds of D&D inspired types of adventures, and it's been going on for a really long time. It's a really great comic book if you enjoy tabletop games, if you enjoy adventure games, this is a really good one for you to get into. And now they have a game, which makes so much sense. I don't know why I didn't think about this before, that they would have a game that goes along with the Rat Queens. I love the Rat Queens because they are a hot mess, which is exactly how I like to play games. Each of the characters are messy and problematic, and I love them. So, who are the Rat Queens, you might be asking? They are booze-guzzling, death-dealing battle maidens for hire who need your help defending their homeland, and it needs to happen fast because the big bad is drawing closer and the time is of the essence. So, if you're a fan of the comic books and you're trying to get more involved with the story, you can now play as the characters. There's 4 main characters. You get figurines. You can also add an expansion as well. This deck comes with so many different things. This is gigantic. I can't believe that they're giving all of this stuff, putting all this stuff into this base game, which is only $49, which is crazy. But you get combat dice, you get tokens, you get the 4 colored Rat Queens miniatures, player boards, ability cards, a folding game board. You get 30 monster cards, 3 unique big bad miniatures, 3 big bad boss boards. Woo.
The bees.
You get a neon static variant art player board as well. And there's also more things that you can get in the following expansions as well. The $79 expansion comes with a Braga miniature. You get another miniature. You get more cards, more tokens in the 139 one. I mean, it's gigantic. You get even more miniatures, more figurines to go with that. It's huge. So if you're a fan of the Rat Queen story, or if you are just really interested in a messy, out of control, chaotic gaming that's under the influence, and you love storylines that are hilarious and funny and cute characters that do messy, hilarious things, please check out Rat Queens to the Slaughter. That ends on Wednesday, August 4th. So check it out. My second one, Kickstarter, that I have is Dream Visions Tarot. You guys know that I love tarot cards so much. And I love this one because I don't know if you guys know, but you can what's it called? Where you're wide awake while you're still dreaming.
Lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. I'm a lucid dreamer. I have really, really lucid dreams all the time. And I'm really fascinated by dream culture and dream visions and things like that. And so this deck really reminds me of a lot of the kind of stranger lucid dreams that I've had. This is a 78 card deck, full color, unique style illustrations from the creator. It's got holographic silver edges, which is really beautiful. And it comes in a book box as well. You also get a some postcards, some stickers that go along with this, and more explanation about what is on the cards as well. The art is really beautiful. It has this sort of airbrushed, pastel-y kind of quality, dream-like quality to it. So if you're interested in that, this is the Dream Tarot card. The Dream Vision Tarot, and this only has 5 more days to go. So ending on Wednesday, July 21st, if you're interested in that. And if you're interested in lucid dreaming, I'll see you in my dreams.
Hey.
Oh, it's so pretty. Oh gosh.
All right. Now with 28 days left, August 11th. I know I'm shouting this out like weeks in advance. Spire and Hildegard words. Basically, this is a solo and or co-op game adventure, aka choose your own adventure, but they can't say it because they had a trademark kind of game that's based off of Spire's End, which is kind of like you guys have played Darkest Dungeon? Kind of like that kind of roguelike game, very grim dark, but instead of grim dark, this is a happier version that isn't as dark and demeaning, and also hopelessness and everything is utter darkness. This one is more, the creator calls it a card game of comfort food. It's supposed to be, this is a standalone adventure in the same world, the game is focused on warmth and vibrance. It's 4 chapters with 100 cards, about 25 illustrations. I really just fell in love with like the card and the artwork for this game. So if you guys like very simple line art that has orange, orange that pops out as the color. I don't know if you guys know this. I might be a fan of the color. It just might be. But yeah, you play as Hildegard, a young messenger on her first assignment to get a mysterious package to the coast. This game isn't really focused on combat. Because the warrior, even though she's a warrior, she only has like a slingshot. It's more of like the journey of the game and what you do to like kind of survive and go through this as a personal growth story. So it largely plays as choose your own adventure style. And then for the 2-player mode, you play as the little sister that tags along in this adventure. So if that sounds interesting to you and you just want to look at the beautiful artwork, or you're a fan of the first version, Spire's End, which is the dark, grim darkness, then this will be the game for you. It's called Spire's End Hildegard.
Yeah, this got an interesting vibe. Because I had played a little bit of Spire's End, and it's definitely very grimdark. So to see them doing the comfort food, kind of nice. And speaking of comfort food, with 9 days left, ending July 25th, Potato Pirates 3 Battle Chips by Kodomo. It's a spectacular coding card game.
This is painful.
I'm so happy. So this is Potato Pirates 3. There's been multiples, and I've seen these before. I was like, wait, why are so many games with potatoes? But it's this person where they keep doing potato games, and they're very punny. And I don't know too much about them, but I just love that they just keep doing it. And people are very excited about these potato games. And by the way, we had talked about Kickstarters and board games making lots of money. A lot of these games are up in like 80,000s, 100,000s. Just people are going gaga for these games. But yeah, Battle Chips, they mentioned it's a coding game, and it's kind of literal about the way like some coding, some like programming type games are just a little subtle. It's just about action allotment. This is more into the programming with things like recursion and code language type stuff, which I think is where the Battle Chips part comes from, because the cards are like chips. So it's a strategic game, and you're zapping your potatoes for energy, digging for sunken cards because it is pirate themed, and building up your ships. There's a lot going on here. Mechanically, I'm still like, it's definitely complex there, but I just love the art and the puns, and the potatoes are cute. So this is why I recommend Potato Pirates 3 Battle Chips. 9 days left. You should check it out.
All right. I'm gonna hop in here. Well, we have established with Potato Pirates that pirates are awesome. You know what else is awesome? Cthulhu. So why not put them together? For this Kickstarter, we've got Cursed Captains of Cthulhu. Have you ever dreamed of being a pirate, sailing the 7 seas and punching Cthulhu right in his snoot? This is the way you do it. This game is powered by a brand new 46 system, core rules that are easy to learn, and you get right into the action. You get to choose a starting profession from 8 character beginnings, then build up and level up over 150 skills and traits to create utterly unique characters. If you want to be a competent pirate or you want to be like the one that I played for the actual play for this thing, then you can explore a parallel golden age of piracy and Lovecraft mythos, fight with or against famous pirates, explore the pirate republic, and delve into the unknown depths with all the dangers and untold knowledge. But should it even be uncovered, or will that knowledge drive you to the edge of your courage and into the abyss? I love Lovecraftian myths. I love pirates. And I am very lucky to be one of the guest writers that's on this project. It's got 14 days left on its Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is over July 30th, one day after my birthday. Hint, maybe back this. That'd be pretty awesome.
You're Leo?
Yeah, Leo's represented. I did the whole thing.
That's why I went Libra. Sadly, Rob's the one in the corner. Libra.
My birthday is also July 30th.
Wait, you have the same.
Mine is July 29th.
Oh, July 29th.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So look, we can have a back-to-back birthday bash. That'd be dope. But there is an actual play of this already. It's got a fantastic cast. It's got the narrator of Baldur's Gate 3, so you'll hear a very familiar voice yelling at me to stop being such a klutz. It's a great time all the way around. Definitely check it out.
That's awesome.
Thank you, guys. This was great. We talked about a lot of great things, but I have some bad news to tell you. That it's come to an end. I now have spoken to the TVA, and we have decided to prune all of you.
No. I'm not a variant.
We're devastated about that, but okay.
What was our deviating? Was this episode the deviation?
This was your Nexus event.
Oh no!
Dang it!
And you have to go now. We're going to prune you. Good luck with Eliath in your next lives. But we've got to go. And thank you so much to the audience. I want to say thank you also to Pikachu. We miss you. We're glad that you're back.
Thick boys represent.
All the thicks.
If you want to join us again for another episode, we're going to be back with new variants, new variant versions, not these guys. These guys are all going to be pruned as soon as it ends, but the real proper versions of each of these guys will be back next week. And if you want to hang out, not with us. I'm confused now. Not with us, but with other people. This is not going very well. I'm about to get pruned myself. So we've got a streaming schedule. Stay tuned here. Mondays, 6 p.m. board games with the Brothers Murph. Wednesdays, 10 a.m. with This Game Gets Dicey's. Friday, back again with our variants, 2 p.m. Every Friday, we show up rain or shine for Table Takes. Remember to follow, subscribe, turn on those notifications, slap that notification bell so that you never miss a show. But if you do miss a show, you can find most of our streams on YouTube. Nora will find you, like the TVA, we will track you down. But also you can find our streams just one day later. That's it, just 24 hours on YouTube. And if you want to connect to other Gen Con fans, the genitals, you can check out our official Discord as well. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Emma does not sign off on any of this stuff. These shit. Thank you so much to Emma. Thank you to Noir. Thank you to Bonsai. Thank you to you guys, the viewers. Thank you to everybody who helps us behind the scenes. Thank you to Subway for not sponsoring this, but always being in the background of this. Thank you.
I'm so hungry.
And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Isabella, for being great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.